Right now, in farm country across Kentucky, Texas, Missouri, and Montana, American ranchers, farmers, and small business owners are doing something that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. They are parking their Ford F-150s, their Chevy Silverados, and their Ram 1500s, and they are replacing them with tiny Japanese trucks that weigh less than a ton, make 52 horsepower, and cost less than most used sedans. These are called K trucks, and they are taking over rural America so fast that importers cannot keep them in stock. One dealer in New York sold his first 5 in 7 days. Another in Texas reported a 6-month waiting list. And here's the part that should bother every American automaker. These trucks are not new. They are 25 to 30 years old. They were designed in the 1980s and the 1990s for Japanese rice farmers who needed to navigate paths narrower than a sidewalk. They have no airbags, no backup cameras, no touchscreen, no blind spot monitoring, no heated seats, no 360-degree surround view, nothing. Just a steering wheel on the wrong side, a 3-cylinder engine smaller than a motorcycle, and a flatbed that actually works. And American farmers are choosing them over trucks that cost $85,000 because the $85,000 truck cannot do what a $5,000 Japanese mini truck does every single day. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what is happening, why it is happening, and what this says about how badly American automakers have lost the plot on what a truck is actually supposed to be. Subscribe if you have not already. Let's get into it. The K-truck class was created by the Japanese government after World War II. Japan's roads were narrow, fuel was expensive, and the country needed cheap, efficient vehicles that ordinary people could afford. The government designed these trucks for utility and accessibility. The government set strict size and engine limits. The vehicle could not exceed 11.2 feet in length or 4.9 feet in width. The engine could not exceed 660 cubic centimeters. In exchange for staying within those limits, owners received massive tax breaks, cheaper insurance, and in many areas they did not need to prove they had a parking space to register the vehicle. Japanese manufacturers built some of the most practical small trucks ever made. The Honda Acty, the Suzuki Carry, the Daihatsu Hi-Jet, and the Subaru Sambar show that practicality. These trucks weighed around 1,500 to 1,800 pounds. They offered 4-wheel drive and a turning radius of 14 feet, which is less than half the turning circle of a Ford F-150. Their flatbeds were low to the ground, with all 3 side panels folding completely flat, turning the bed into an open platform that could be loaded from any direction. Because the engine sat either under the cab or behind the rear axle, the bed extended over the entire wheelbase. A truck that was shorter than a Honda Civic had a usable bed almost as large as a full-size American pickup. For decades, these trucks served Japanese agriculture, construction, and small business. Nobody in America paid attention. Then everything changed around 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the global supply chain. New car prices skyrocketed. Used car prices followed. A base model F-150 that cost $35,000 in 2019 was suddenly $45,000 or more. A fully loaded crew cab cost $80,000. At the same time, American trucks have been getting bigger, heavier, and more complex every year. The bed rails were so high that loading heavy cargo required a step ladder or a tailgate step system that added another $800 to the sticker price. The trucks were so wide they barely fit in standard parking spaces, and the maintenance costs reflected all that complexity. A set of brakes for a modern F-150 can run over $1,000. A transmission repair can hit $4,000. These are work trucks that have been engineered like luxury SUVs, and they are priced accordingly. Rural Americans, the people who actually use trucks as tools and not as lifestyle accessories, started looking for alternatives, and they found the KEI truck. Thanks to a federal law known as the 25-year rule, any foreign vehicle that is at least 25 years old is exempt from modern U.S. safety and emissions regulations. That means a 1997 Suzuki Carry or a 1999 Honda Acty can be legally imported, titled, and in most states, driven on public roads. Importers figured this out, and business exploded. K-truck imports tripled to an estimated 7,500 units per year. Specialty dealerships popped up across the country. Online auctions for Japanese mini trucks became a cottage industry. Now take a second and hit that like button if you are learning something here. This story needs to reach more people. Let's keep going. The appeal is not sentimental, it is purely practical. A used K-truck lands in the US for somewhere between $4,000 and $8,000 depending on condition, mileage, and whether it has four-wheel drive. Compare that to the average transaction price of a new American pickup, which crossed $55,000 in 2024. For the price of one F-250, you could buy 7 K-trucks and still have money left for fuel. And speaking of fuel, a K-truck gets 40 to 50 miles per gallon. A modern full-size pickup averages 18 to 22 miles per gallon. On a farm where you are driving between barns, fields, and feedlots every day, that difference adds up to thousands of dollars a year. Maintenance is where the gap gets almost absurd. A K-truck engine has 3 cylinders and displaces 660 cubic centimeters. There are no turbochargers, no variable valve timing, no cylinder deactivation, no direct injection, no particulate filters, no DEF system, no start-stop system. The engine is mechanically simple in a way that modern American engines have not been in 30 years. A farmer with basic tools can change the oil, replace the brakes, swap a starter motor, and do most routine maintenance in his own barn. Try doing that on a 2024 F-150 with a twin-turbo EcoBoost engine, and you will need a factory scan tool just to reset the oil life monitor. Home remodeling contractor Tyler Highstand replaced his conventional truck with a 1994 Subaru Sambar and told reporters it handles everything his mid-size pickup could. A brewery operator in San Antonio runs a 1997 Suzuki Carry for catering and keg transport. A soap business owner in Philadelphia operates out of a K-truck at farmers markets because the compact size fits perfectly in standard vendor spaces. These are not hobbyists collecting novelty vehicles. These are working people who found a tool that works better than the American alternative at a fraction of the cost. The practical advantages on a farm are especially stark. A K-truck is less than 5 feet wide. It fits through barn doors, between fence lines, down orchard rows, and along trail paths that no full-size truck can navigate. The bed sits low enough that you can load hay bales, feed bags, and equipment without lifting them over your head. The 4-wheel drive versions handle mud, snow, and uneven terrain with surprising capability for something that weighs less than a Harley-Davidson with a sidecar. Here's the detail that connects this story to everything else we cover on this channel. These trucks are reliable specifically because they are simple. A Honda Acty engine from 1995 has bearing clearances that are generous by modern standards. It runs conventional oil. It has no computer-controlled fuel management beyond basic electronic injection. There is no tight tolerance turbo system that requires 0W20 synthetic oil to survive. The engine was designed to be maintained by Japanese rice farmers who had no access to dealer service networks. It was built with forgiveness in the engineering, the same forgiveness that lets Cuban mechanics keep 1950s Chevrolets alive, and that lets Lagos mechanics rebuild Mercedes engines under 10 roofs. Modern American truck engines, by contrast, are engineered to their absolute limits. The Ford 3.5-liter EcoBoost runs twin turbochargers at cylinder pressures that would have destroyed engines 20 years ago. The GM 6.2-liter V8, the one they recently recalled 721,000 units for catastrophic bearing failure, runs 0W20 oil with bearing clearances tighter than a human hair. These engines make incredible power and incredible fuel economy numbers for their size, but the margin for error is gone. One contaminated oil passage, one brief drop in oil pressure, one slightly out of spec bearing, and the engine destroys itself. A K-truck engine forgives mistakes. A modern American truck engine punishes them. Not everything about K-trucks is perfect. They are genuinely unsafe in a collision with larger vehicles. At highway speeds, which most can technically reach but should not sustain, they offer virtually no crash protection. There are no airbags. The crumple zones are measured in inches, not feet. Some states have already moved to restrict or ban them from public roads. Rhode Island is attempting to outlaw them entirely. Several northeastern states are making registration increasingly difficult. And some K-truck owners suspect that mainstream automakers are quietly lobbying lawmakers to close the import loopholes before the trend grows any further. That suspicion isn't paranoid. American automakers have an enormous financial interest in making sure farmers keep buying $60,000 trucks instead of $5,000 imports. Every K-truck sold is a lost sale for Detroit. And unlike most competitive threats, this one can be killed through regulation rather than innovation. You don't have to build a better truck if you can make the better truck illegal. But for now, the trucks keep coming. Shipping containers full of Suzuki Carries and Honda Actys and Daihatsu Hi-Jets are crossing the Pacific by the thousands. Rural Americans are buying them, driving them, working them, and wondering why nobody told them about this sooner. The answer is simple. Nobody in the American automotive industry wanted you to know. The lesson here is the same one Cuba taught us, the same one Lagos teaches every day. Simplicity is durability. A machine that can be understood, maintained, and repaired by the person who uses it will always outlast a machine that requires a factory-authorized technician and a proprietary computer to diagnose a check engine light. American automakers forgot that. Japanese K-truck designers never did. And right now, on farms across America, the results speak for themselves. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button so the algorithm pushes this to every truck owner in America who has been wondering if there is a better option. Drop a comment and tell me, would you trade your full-size pickup for a K-truck? I want to hear it. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We have a lot more coming and you do not want to miss any of it. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.